No, look, I'm here, okay, only because I agreed with Dillon on a new format for the show. Okay, I do the G sides, I do the bonus features, and then now I get a little segment of my own at the end, Mike. Okay. Nowhere did I agree to wear cheap costumes.
It's a wizard's disguise. We're doing Chamber of Secrets.
I realize we're doing Chamber of Secrets. That's not the issue.
I just don't see what the big deal is. It's part of the show, all right? Just buy in or don't. 1, 2, 3. Welcome to today's show, where we cover the fantasy-filled wizard film Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. The film follows Harry, a child sorcerer with special talents who, along with his two friends Ron and Hermione, are contacted by a mysterious elf who tells the group to expect danger at Hogwarts. But nothing could prepare the young magicians for talking spiders, flying cars, talking trees, and mysterious messages written in blood on the walls of the school. So grab a broomstick, sharpen your wand, and get ready, because Chamber of Secrets is what we're watching. Welcome to What Are We Watching, the film show which offers insight into the hottest and most important films of our time. Joining me, as always, is film expert and Potter's superfan, Dillon.
Hello.
And experimental artist and cultural critic, Grayson.
Thanks, Mike.
Well, here we are. It's been a long time coming, but Potter Week is finally upon us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always a great time of the year to dig into the world and the lore surrounding everything Potter.
For those new to our show, Potter Week is a time of year where we watch all Potter films in a row, twice, and then break down each one.
Potter Week has always been one of my favorite days of the year, especially on this show. It's just a great time to talk to fans, catch up with characters from the films, and talk about all things Potter. You know, Hogwarts is such a rich and deeply fascinating environment for any film or story to take place, and JK wrote it that way on purpose. So yeah, you could do 10, 15 episodes on all of these 8 films. This episode today in particular is going to cover exclusively Chamber of Secrets.
Now, Dillon, tell me, is this your favorite Potter film?
Oh wow, favorite Potter film question. Yikes, yeah, I got a boring answer. It's going to be a yes and no.
Right. About that?
Yeah. I'd say Chambers is top, in that top 2 discussion. I don't know if I could pick it over Goblet.
Interesting.
Chambers and Goblet is kind of in tandem at that number 1 spot. If I were to choose a favorite, the only reason I would potentially choose Chambers is because of the introduction of my friend, my favorite character in the Harry Potter franchise, Dobby the elf. Dobby actually lives in the Chamber of Secrets.
Really?
Yes, and that's what's interesting is the chamber itself is seldom seen in the theatrical cut of Chambers of Secrets Harry Potter Part 2. There's some deleted scene stuff that maybe you'll touch on later, but in my deep dive I'm going to do in the next segment, I plan on spending extensive amount of time wading through the secrets in the chamber. I'm going to talk to Dobby. Maybe there'll be a Hagrid sighting.
Ooh,
who knows? So we have that to look forward to, yeah.
Yes, we can't wait for that. And along with Dillon's deep dive, we will also be answering questions from fans, getting Grayson's thoughts on the DVD special features, and towards the end of the show, I will be interviewing a real magician who, much like Harry, deals with the dark arts of sorcery and deception.
Oh, that should be great.
Yes, it should be enlightening. Thank you, Grayson. Which leads me to our last segment, which is a contractually obligated segment titled holding power to the fire, casting light on the injustice and bigotry implicitly found in, and then it's blank, but then it's written in whatever piece of shit we're watching this week.
This episode's going to be Harry Potter and the Chambers of Secret.
Okay, so you have that to expect later on. But for now, let's get things started and dive into Potter Week. Dillon, take us away.
Yeah. Everybody follow me. Hogwarts, the premier school for witches, magicians, warlocks, and wizards. But more than a school, Hogwarts is an institution that maintains the culture and purity of the magic world. But sometimes, to truly understand a society, you must look underneath the surface and enter the Chamber of Secrets. Who impregnated Bilbo Baggins? Anakin, or Annie, as he's referenced throughout the film. You see, Dumbledore is Grindelwald. Here deep in the chamber, we're about to meet our first character, my personal friend, Dobby. Now, last time I saw Dobbs, he wasn't doing too well, so here's hoping that things got better. Hey, old friend, how are you?
Hello. You got my stuff?
Sure did, yeah. Got you some celery, some arugula, some thyme. Even picked you up some organic chipotle mayonnaise.
What about the hooch? Where's my rum?
I told you I'm not doing that anymore. So Dobbs, I was hoping that you could give us a tour of the Chamber of Secrets today.
Yes.
So this is Dobby's home now. A wet, dark network full of tunnels and secrets. It didn't used to be like this though, no. Doblin Dobby Dandleton was born into a loving home with two parent elves, Bobson and Dustus. Bobson managed all the septic and sewage at Hogwarts. Until one day, when Professor Snape created the Erectus Anal Cleanses spell that magically made all the feces and urine in the castle disappear. Bobson was laid off and was no longer able to provide for Dobby and Dustus. When the goblin flu hit, the Dandletons weren't able to afford the vaccine. Soon after, Dustus died. Bobson was so sad at his partner's passing that he turned to the butterbeer for comfort, eventually dying on the streets of Diagonal Alley. Without parents' support from the Ministry of Magic, Dobby never learned discipline or had access to resources. As a result, he now spends his time tricking and hustling in the Chamber of Secrets. So Hagrid, what have you been up to? I thought you had a place up by Hogwarts, no?
I did. I used to own a little one-bedroom, but I lost that when I lost the job. I gave 40 years of my life to Hogwarts. I loved the kids, the magic, even the building itself. But once I had my accident, they threw me out in a street. I'm not allowed back on the property no more. Sometimes I'll head down the canal to the sewers and check on the kids through the pipes and vents.
Well, I'm glad that they that they still have you in their lives in some capacity. Now, on other news, what can you tell me about Harry and the Rogue Bludger?
Did you not bring us hooch?
He brought nothing.
No, I have told Dobby that I'm not going to do that anymore. However, I did bring y'all some fresh, locally grown vegetables, including some organic carrots. Hey Dobbs, can you grab me a glass of water, please? Thank you. I'm going to show you a fun little recipe that I figured out called carrot water. Do y'all have a farmer's market down here in the chamber? Oh, thanks, Dobbs. Wow. That smells like poop.
That's because it is. It's pure shite. You see, the Erectus Anal Cleanses spell that Professor Snape's created never worked like people thought it did. Sure, the spell cleans out the septic tanks at Hogwarts, but it doesn't disappear. No! It's dropped here in the Chamber of Secrets for us to smell and eat!
Welcome to G-Sides, a segment where our cultural critic / experimental artist Grayson reviews the DVD bonus features of films we cover on the show. Now, I know what you're thinking. Mike usually interviews celebrities and important people in the industry. What's he doing on G-Sides? I understand the confusion. Let me explain. Due to compliance issues, I will be sitting in today to help with Grayson in the process of analyzing and commenting. Sound good, Grayson?
Sure.
All right, let's get started.
You filthy little mudblood. Draco Malfoy is
They look so young. I think part of the appeal of the Harry Potter series is getting to watch these characters grow up before our eyes.
What kind of parent would let their kid do this?
What, be magicians?
Well, no, they're not magicians in real life. They're actors. These kids are like 12 years old, being on billboards, signing away their rights to advertising agencies for like 10 years of their adolescence.
For millions of dollars. What's the problem?
Yeah, to their parents.
Oh, I guess, but they don't get it. I don't know.
He's very keen on Harry. He always vulnerable, very scared of his own shadow. He's very scared. He gets into a lot of problems, like broomstick, hanging from chandeliers and things.
I feel like there are ways to do it that don't rob the child of their identity. For instance, when I have a boy, I will name him after my father, Charles. And if he had an aptitude for acting, then I would do my best to ease him into the industry. Obviously, I would be upfront with him, Charles, you don't have to do this. You can, play baseball or draw instead. Give him choices. This is, of course, if his mother is okay with it. I don't know, man. I think it's fun.
Whenever he gets a chance, he goes up to Harry, asks for a photograph.
There are so many rich details in the books. Can you tell us how you decide what goes in and what stays out?
Well, I think it is developing in the film as it does in the books, which is to say that...
Man, I would love a crack at interviewing Rowling.
Yeah.
It's just the scoop I need.
What would you interview her about?
Well, I'd imagine it would be about Harry Potter, no?
Yeah, but wasn't this like a decade ago? Why do you think she'd want to talk about it?
Well, there's loads else to talk about. I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever had her dish before. Get her to gab on record.
Gab?
Sure, spill the beans. Maybe a secret romance or two with the co-writers. Who knows?
Or her relationship with Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
Yeah.
No, not that.
Yeah, I'd probably read that.
I've always felt that Dumbledore bears such a tremendous dark burden, and he knows secrets, and I think in many ways he bears the weight of the future of the wizard world, which is being challenged, and the only way to that he can keep that at bay, the darkness, is to be sort of whimsical and humorous, and I think that's just it's just a really interesting thing. I think he's a character of so many layers.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an extraordinary moment this is.
Oh, so this is a cool interactive feature. We get to navigate Lockhart's classroom.
And this is for what?
Gilderoy Lockhart's office.
That's the name of the show.
What show?
Huh?
What?
In the case of Dumbledore's office, there are script requirements. The outer room, there have to be...
Oh, this always interested me, the set designers in film. My mom always thought I would be in set design as a career.
Your mom thought that?
Yeah. I used to decorate around the house when I was in high school. Sometimes my parents would leave town and I would, move the furniture all around the house, switch the curtains, try new colors in different rooms, stuff like that. I would do different themes, like Casino Night or Dracula's Castle.
Dude, why aren't you doing that now instead of this dumbass show?
Decorating?
Yeah.
Oh, stop. Set designing is just a hobby. I barely own enough fabrics to dress a basic scene.
We'll get some more.
Well, fabrics aren't cheap. And there is the matter of storage.
Yeah, you'd figure it out.
Maybe. You know, I've always wanted to open my own set design company that just does historical bathhouses, Turkish and Asian.
Well, that's pretty cool. I'd say do that, man.
Well, how about this? I've got auditing this Monday with my minister. I'll see what he says about it.
So that's Scientology?
Yeah. Giving it a try. We'll see.
The day came that we were to scout.
Did you know the first cut of the screenplay for Chambers of Secrets featured a scene where, in order to spy on Professor Snape's, Harry had to drink the juice of a rare cactus? This juice morphed Harry into a sloth-like creature. His transformation into a sloth allowed him to traverse the exterior of Hogwarts and gaze upon Professor Snape's private whereabouts.
I was experimenting with a lot of different hallucinogenic drugs at the time of writing the first draft. I remember one late night writing session in particular, Rupert Grint turned me on to intravenous peyote. I did a couple of injections and tripped very, very hard. During my trip, I saw myself as an ape, crawling all around my office for 12 hours straight. When I woke up the next morning, I wrote an extra scene in the script, reflecting this journey I had just experienced. Unfortunately, the studio thought the newly added scene was bizarre and inappropriate. I was ordered to remove it immediately.
I always get my scoop. On this week's segment, I have the privilege of talking to Daniel Martin, a real magician. That's right, no CGI, no special effects. I'm talking about a real sorcerer here, folks. I'll be asking Daniel, Hufflepuff or Ravenclaw? Wand or sword? Lightness or darkness? And who knows, maybe even catch a glimpse of some magic myself. Let's see what he has to say. Mr. Martin, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Real pleased to be here.
So, I'm going to be upfront with you. I'm a muggle, born and bred. My parents are Christian and raised me with the Lord. I was never let anywhere near magic or the dark arts growing up. I'm completely new to the scene. So, tell me, when and how did you discover your powers?
Oh, wow. My interest in magic really started this year when my kids left for college. I got a son out east, and he's studying theater, going to be a big actor. And my daughter's studying down south, and she's doing medicine just like her mom. And ever since they left, well, me and my wife had to find something to do with our time. We had a lot of it.
That's interesting. You weren't born into it?
Oh, no, not at all. I was raised on a dairy farm in rural Wisconsin. My parents were farmers, and their parents were farmers, and their parents were farmers. And I'll give you one guess as to who their parents were. They were also farmers.
Okay, so after the farm, when was your first introduction to magic?
Oh, well, I guess it would have to be the old magic shows. This is probably showing my age, but back in the day, there was one that was, The Magic of David Copperfield. And I tell you what, the host would do just the wackiest things, and I could not for the life of me figure out how he did them.
Would you consider yourself a Satanist?
No.
Good, just checking. You know, with Harry Potter, there is a lot of talk about the dark arts versus the light arts. Would you say you use your powers exclusively for good? Or do you find yourself dabbling in the dark side every once in a while?
Mostly I just do magic tricks for friends and family to make people laugh. Like a trick, like a party trick.
let me ask you this. I've always had this odor that radiates from my crotch region. Even after the shower, it's not like terrible or like rancid or anything. I've had women before and they tell me that it's okay, even normal, but it's always been there persistently. And what I'm wondering is if this could be a spell or potentially shadow play.
Oh, geez. I don't have a clue. I'm so sorry. My wife is the doctor. I'm really just a stay-at-home dad.
Of course you don't. I'm sorry to have burdened you with that information. I probably made you sick.
Oh, it's no problem. No problem at all. The human body can just be so weird. Trust me, being married to a doctor has opened my eyes to all sorts of things. Have you ever seen a doctor for this?
Many.
Oh, yeah? No help then?
With all due respect to your wife, they don't know what they're talking about.
Right. Well, medicine and science are really...
All right, Mr. Martin. Thank you so much for giving us a glimpse behind the curtain of the magic world. We all hope you remain one of the good ones.
I want to let you know, I only have the best intentions. And I'll tell you what, I really do wish you the best of luck with your medical conditions.
Of course you do.
Which house would you belong to? Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff, or Grindlagore?
Okay. I usually only answer this once every Potter week, so here you go. Here it is. I know in the past I've identified with Hufflepuff very publicly, but this year I have to say it's Grindlagore. Yeah, let me explain. I feel as though Grindlegore's emphasis on ambition and loyalty has spoken to me a lot more recently, particularly as I approach my 30s. Grindles and Slithleys have that dark wizard or bad boy label or whatever, which is definitely earned in the case of Slytherin, don't get me wrong. But in the case of Grindlagore, I feel as though their drive and ambition are often mistaken for detachment. When if you look at the facts, they've produced nothing but proficient wizards, and they have pretty much a solid reputation throughout the history of Hogwarts. So yeah, in 2021, I think my allegiance going forward is going to be with Grindlagore. Thanks for the question.
Hey Dylan, huge Potterhead here. What type of wand do you have at the moment? I remember last year you had that absolute mint applewood wand with Phoenix core.
So you are referencing my Medungus wand, and no, unfortunately I sold that last year. But I recently purchased something much more elegant that I will be debuting on today's episode. So this, my friends, is poplar spruce wood. Yep, I did it. No core. I haven't purchased a core for it yet, as you can see. I think I'm gonna hold out and wait for the new Dragon's Milk cores this winter. Besides, what I paid for this spruce, I don't have $1 left in my name. There you go. So yeah, I'll be building this bad boy out for probably the remainder of 2021. I will for sure post frequent updates. Yeah.
Welcome to my new segment where I expose the sometimes problematic, oft exploitative, and truly idiotic nature of these films that my hosts are so insistent on me researching, or at least Dylan is. What does Mike do on this show? Let's just dive in here, shall we? Okay, I'm ready. Today we tackle Harry Potter, fantasy escapism written for children that somehow created a refuge for confused adults at odds with the chaos of their reality. Let's dive in. The first thing you'll notice is the franchise's obsession with white, male-dominated institutional tradition. It's reminiscent of Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut, except in this film the audience are on the side of the masked, hedonistic rapists and not the victims of their cruel rituals. Let's take a look at Hogwarts. Hogwarts is an elite boarding school for 280 mostly white children taught by 14 very white teachers. According to the openly transphobic author J.K. Rowling, there are around 10 other wizard schools in this universe. Now, how the lucky children gained access to these elite institutions, while other less fortunate students didn't, is anyone's guess, but one can only assume. Anyway, once at school, the students are routinely abused by teachers with no significant repercussions from administration, a campus surrounded by dangerous creatures, murderous wizards, and outright treacherous infrastructure, with absolutely no evidence of oversight or regulation of any kind. And then there's Harry Potter, our protagonist. He's a traumatized orphan that we watch get groomed and used by an old man to kill his political enemies over the course of 9 films and nearly a dozen years.
Albus Dumbledore is the greatest sorcerer in the world.
But why? Who benefits from this exclusivity? Racial and species supremacy, lack of regulation. Who is Harry really killing for? Hogwarts. Hogwarts is no different than any elite private school or country club. As long as the resources are concentrated in the hands of the upper class, then they are able to remain in control and ensure that there is no threat to the status quo. In summation, there you have it. Hogwarts is fucking canceled. Dumbledore, I hope you share a bunk with Epstein, burning in hell, you Clinton Foundation fuck. I'm done.
Alright,
Don't look now. You are being spied on. Behind you in the vents. You must run now and tell the world what you have seen. Go now, go!
wow. Wow. Come on, Dobby, let's go. Let's go.
No, I cannot leave without the others.
Dobby, that's crazy. You can't continue to live in this place.
We have no choice. Most of us are just creatures with no money or resources.
Dobbs!
This is our only option. Goodbye, friend. Next time, bring some damn hooch.
Why, we weren't expecting you for another day or two. I wasn't aware that you were covering Chamber of Secrets during this Potter Week.
What are you doing in there?
It's not my fault they choose to live in a sewage pipe, or that they would rather spend their days getting drunk on butterbeer than contribute to society.
Dumbledore is right. Besides, they're just goblins and elves. They love the smell of shit.
Go home. Return to your Potter Week. We all look forward to tomorrow's coverage of the Goblets of Fire.
All right, well, that is going to do it for this installment of Potter Week. Join us tomorrow, where we'll be covering the third part of the franchise, Prisoner of Azkaban.
No more Potter. No more Potter. No.
Well, maybe you just need to relax a little bit. Go ahead and follow us on all the social media pages and be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time.